Morning students. Today we are going to start history chapter number 10. Name of the chapter is public facilities. In this particular chapter we are going to be cover few topics like what is the meaning of public facilities, as the name itself indicating, something which is not private and the ownership is not decided by the individuals, the rather the ownership of the group or by the other governing authority, right? So we will be studying about the meaning of public facilities with examples. Then we will study about like water is a main element in the public facility as a service. So we will study about the water as a public facility. And in book there is the case study of the Chennai, wherein in Chennai there is a problem of the water supply, and in Chennai there are lot of cities. These are the names of the cities in the Chennai: Annanagar, Mylapore, Madipakkam, Saidapet. So about these four cities we will be studying what type of problem is there related to the water in such type of cities, and what is the present situation of water in India, and by our Indian constitution the water is recognized as a fundamental right to life under the article 21. So I will tell you about the water as a fundamental right to life. So these are the main topics which we are going to cover in today's class, and in our further classes we will be covering few more topics. And so let us start with our first topic: what is the meaning of public facility? So as a meaning of the public facility, first of all, there are some features which we need to know about those features. So first of all, what is the main feature of the public facility? Public facilities are the basic needs of the life. The facilities which are taking as a which are considered as a basic needs of our life. First of all, the public facilities includes the fulfillment of the basic needs of our life. For example, water, food supply, shelter, sanitation, transport, education. So all these facilities are considered as the public facilities. And so one of the basic feature of the public facility is these are the basic facilities which are provided. And what is the second feature? First feature is these are the basic needs of the life. The services provided under the public facilities are basic in nature. Second, these are provided to everyone irrespective of their caste, creed and gender, whether these are the rich persons, whether these are the poor persons, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their caste background, irrespective of their educational and economic background. These are the common facilities which required by each and everyone. Third type of feature under the public facility is once these facilities are provided, its benefits are equally shared by everyone. Benefits are enjoyed or shared by everyone, right? For example, in our locality, for example in your locality, there is a school, there are the public parks, there are the temples. Nobody can stop anyone to enter in these type of public places, because these are the services provided by the government, by the authority, right? This is not the property of the private person. These are not the suppose public parks are there, temples are there, hospitals are there, so anyone can go over there and have the treatment and enjoy the life. Suppose public parks are there, so anyone can go over there and enjoy the services provided by the one governing authority, right? Number 4, Generally, these services are provided by the government, and it is the responsibility of the government that it should take measures to ensure that these facilities are available to everyone, right? So it is the government's responsibility that these facilities are available to everyone irrespective of caste, creed, gender, and economic and social background. I hope the word public facility is clear to everyone. So let us move towards our second topic. So students, in the NCERT book, the water is taken as a main and basic facility provided by the government, and it should be enjoyed by each and every one because water is a basic necessity of life, and without water nobody can survive, right? So in our NCERT book there is a case study of the Chennai in different parts. In Chennai, there are different cities, and mainly four cities are discussed in our chapter to highlight the problem of water in the Chennai. First of all, there is a city Annanagar. In Annanagar is a very posh area where mainly the high class society used to live. It is full of, it is a lush green area, and in case is if there is a water shortage in the particular area, then the high class society calls to the municipal corporation, and accordingly, because they are in society, they are very high class society, so on their request the water tankers are available, and water supply is made very easily over there in case if water shortage is there. So we are studying about the Annanagar is a posh area where high class society used to live, and the area is very lush green area, and if there is a water problem in that particular area, then the people living in that particular area used to call to the municipal corporation, and in this way municipal corporation immediately arrange for the water supply through the tankers in the particular area, right? Similarly, there is another city in Chennai itself where the people living over there belong to the middle class society. Here the water problem is too much. Water comes once in 2 days. Once in 2 days. So students, you can imagine if water is not coming even for a half day at your home, so how will you feel? You will feel very uncomfortable, and many of the tasks for which especially the water is required will be totally disturbed. Now here imagine the water is not coming for 2 days and water is coming once in 2 days, and in order to get rid of the water problem, the people buy water people buy the water from the water tankers, and moreover in 1 month rupees 500 to rupees 600 they are spending for buying the water from the water tankers, buying the water from water tankers. So in this way, again I am repeating, in there is another city in the Chennai, and in that particular area middle class society is living. Water comes in 2 days, and they in order to, there is a water shortage because water is coming in once in 2 days. So in order to purchase the water, they are looking for the water tankers, and every month they are spending rupees 500 to 600 for just purchasing the water from the water tankers. Now there is another city in Chennai itself. The name of the city is Madipakkam, right? And here the situation is more worse. The in this society the poor people are living, and here the water comes in 4 days, once in 4 days. So you can imagine here the situation is even more worse than the Mylapore. In Mylapore water was coming once in 2 days, but here in Madipakkam in Chennai itself the water is coming once in 4 days. And moreover, in order to solve the problem of the water shortage, they are purchasing the water from the water tank. They are purchasing water bottles for drinking purposes. Purchasing water bottles for drinking purposes. So here the situation, students, even more worse than the other cities of the Chennai. Name of the city is Madipakkam. Poor people are living in this particular area, and situation is very very bad because water is coming once in 4 days, and people are relying on purchasing the water bottles for the drinking purposes, right? So the last one city which is again discussed in our NCERT book is Saidapet. So this is the particular area Saidapet again in Chennai, but here the people are poor, very very poor people are living in huts, you can say. So totally there are 30 huts in that particular area, and there is only one tap for water, and moreover the water is coming only for 20 minutes in a day. Again I'm repeating, water comes only for 20 minutes in a day. And you can imagine, if water is coming for 20 minutes and there are 30 huts, so if the water is coming for 20 minutes, so you can very well imagine that how many 30 huts are there, right? For one person can take 3 buckets maximum at a time, right? So again I'm repeating, what is the Saidapet area, what is the situation in the Saidapet area? The very very poor people are living, the people those who are living in the huts, there are 30 huts in that particular area, and there is only one single water tap in the particular area, and moreover the water is coming for 20 minutes, and one family can take only maximum 3 buckets full of water at a time. Sometimes people have to wait for long hours, and sometimes even after standing in the long queue they won't be able to get the water in this particular time duration. So situation is very very bad over here. So students, let us discuss our today's next topic, water as a fundamental right. So students, we one of the chapter in civics we had covered regarding the constitution, and all of you know that what is constitution. And in Indian constitution there are many articles, and out of those articles one of the article is article 21, and according to article 21 our Indian constitution guarantees the water as a fundamental right, and it is the right of everyone to access clean water for the survival of life. So according to article 21, our Indian constitution recognizes the right to water as a right to life under this article, this means that it is the right of everyone. Everyone means irrespective of rich or poor, right? In other words, we can say that there should be universal access to water, right? So what does our article 21 of the constitution recognizes? It recognizes water as a fundamental right to life, and water should be available to each and everyone irrespective of their caste, creed, gender, social and economic background, and there should be universal access to water. Whereas on the other side, if we look at the present situation of water, if we look at the present scenario of water in India, so then we come to know that water, on no doubt, everyone, all of us knows that water is a basic necessity and it is very much important for our life. It is very much important for our life. But on the other hand, we also know that India is one of the country wherein the cases of waterborne diseases are maximum. Whether it is the cholera, whether it is the diarrhea, whether it is the dysentery. So these are the waterborne diseases, and in India, the water such type of diseases are maximum, and near about studies, according to the studies in India, approximately 1600 Indians, including children, women, approximately 1600 Indians, they die every day because of water related diseases. Yes, I'm repeating, they die every day. Every day they die because of the waterborne diseases. And what are the waterborne diseases? Like cholera, dysentery, diarrhea, etc. So this is the present one. See, on one side, though, we are saying that according to the Supreme Court and the Indian Constitution of according to Indian Constitution, the water is considered as the fundamental right under the Article 21, and it is the basic necessity of the life, and nobody can stop anyone to have the clean drinkable water. But on the other side, the looking at the present one situation in India, the situation is worse as far as the water supply is concerned, and near about 1600 people die every day because of the waterborne diseases. So students, I hope today's topic are clear to you. Once again, I repeat the topics which we covered today. We covered today the public facility, its meaning, then the water as a public facility, and we studied about the main four cities of Chennai, where different areas where high class is living, where middle class is living, where poor and very poor class is living, and what is the situation of water is there, what is the present scenario of the water, and how the water is considered as a fundamental right to life. I hope all these topics are clear to you. In our next class, we will be covering more topics. Till then, take care. Bye.